Every once in a while, a fighter goes on an insane tear through the UFC, and the hype trains they generate get crazy. These beasts don't look like anyone's gonna stop them, but hey, this is the fight game and anything can happen. No one's safe once that bell rings, and even the most powerful hype trains fall off the rails sometimes. Let's talk about some hype trains we think won't survive 2023. First up, at number 10, Marlon Vera. It's no secret that the lightweight division has been the UFC's crown jewel for the past few years, but guys, don't you sleep on the bantamweights. They're catching up, and it's because of guys like Aljo, Sugar, and of course, Marlon Chito Vera. Now, he's been looking invincible lately. The guy has generated some insane hype for sure. We mean, he hasn't lost once since his loss to Jose Aldo at the end of 2020. That's right, this man's been delivering brutal KOs and putting up dominant performances without a single loss in the last 2 years. And heading into 2023, he's definitely one of the UFC's current hype trains. Yeah, no matter how much you like him or how good he's been doing, this is a list of hype trains we think are gonna end in the next year. Sorry, Chito. Don't get us wrong, guys, we love the man, but think about it, the bantamweight division is stacked. And even if he gets through the absolute monster that is Corey Sandhagen in their upcoming match, he'll likely be taken down by Aljo or maybe even the soon-to-return Henry Cejudo.
Opponent and these uppercuts right through the card. I mean, can't question the heart.
Next up, at number 9, we have Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, this one's probably gonna hurt when it happens. This is a hype train that's been going for a while, and it's amazing no matter how you look at it. He's undefeated and has been tearing it up at welterweight. Unfortunately, guys, we don't see it going any further in 2023 for the number 10 ranked welterweight. He's fought enough that we think he's gonna get a top ranker soon, and no matter who it is, Colby, Chimaev, Burns, or even Kamaru, we don't see it going Rakhmonov's way. This guy's a beast, that's undeniable, and maybe he'll prove us wrong. But for now, we can't help but expect this hype train to be derailed. By now, you guys can probably tell this is going to be a contentious list, but wait till you see the rest of our picks before you head to the comments. Following up at number 8, we have Belal Muhammad. Of his last 9 fights, he has won 8, and that other one wasn't a loss either. No, it was a no contest against Leon Edwards. Yeah, we know. The man's record is impressive, and he's not the number 5 ranked welterweight for nothing. Honestly, we can't hate him. The guy's been working with Khabib lately, and he's one of the big dogs of the division. The hype is deserved, but we're not so sure. We don't see him holding up well against some of the guys he might have to fight in 2023. That's right, guys. After his last win, you can bet the UFC is going to give him a big fight next, probably against Burns. And while we hate to do this to our guy Belal, we think Durinho is going to be pulling this train right off the tracks.
Don't matter to me. I'm here to fight the best people. Did you see? This dude was undefeated. I was having so many people tell me.
Coming up at number 7, we have Leon Edwards. Alright, we can't talk about hype trains and leave out one of the guys that generated the most hype this last year. Rocky deserves the welterweight crown after that insane KO win. And don't get us wrong, we're happy for the guy. But unfortunately, we don't see him holding on to it for long. Think about it, guys. Usman was dominating throughout that fight, and he was gonna go on to get a UD victory if it hadn't been for that insane headshot. Sorry, Leon, no disrespect, but we think when these guys face off in their inevitable rematch, Usman's gonna be pulling the brakes on this train for sure. Again, guys, this is just what we think. If you guys disagree, feel free to put that in the comments. Who knows? Maybe you'll change our minds. Next up at number 6, we have Alex Pereira. That's right, there's no way we were going to bring up Leon and not talk about Poatan. The guy practically replicated the insane upset win conditions that Leon pulled off. And unfortunately, we think 2023 will end similarly for the 2 breakout champs. In the same way that the Nigerian Nightmare was dominating Rocky, Stylebender was also absolutely crushing Poatan, and no one saw that incredible left hook KO coming. Now, you guys might think Pereira just has Izzy's number, and he'll win the rematch and end it all for his rival, but we're not even going to get into that. Come on, guys, even if he loses, there's no way Alex is surviving against some of the other guys in the division, especially with the state his ground game's in. Forget Whitaker, even Marvin Vettori could end up snagging the crown off of Poatan's head. We don't know how it's going to happen, but unless he steps up his game, we're pretty confident about this hype train's death in 2023. Some of you guys are probably losing your minds seeing us talk about these champs potentially losing. Well, you haven't seen what's coming up. We've got to warn you guys, brace yourselves. Coming up at number 5, we have Islam Makhachev. Hey, don't look at us. We told you this was going to be a big one. Now, before you wreck us in the comments, remember guys, this is just a possibility. And this insane entry is so low on the list because we aren't sure how it's going to play out. Otherwise, it'd be at number 1 for sure. Anyway, Islam is going to be the GOAT if he keeps going how Khabib did, and it looks like he has the skills. Honestly, if he'd stayed in the lightweight division, we don't think anyone would have been able to beat him. But these fighters are crazy, and they like to give us all some insane anxiety. That's right, we're talking about how this guy is already trying to become a double champ. If anyone's going to accomplish this madness, it's Makhachev. But it isn't that simple, because if anyone's going to beat Makhachev Makhachev, well, it's going to be the guy he's going up against, Volk. We don't know how this one's going to play out, but both of these guys look unbeatable. And it's a very real possibility that Alexander Volkanovski will be putting a stop to the Islam hype train in 2023. Alright, just because we said this entry was going to be at number 1 if we were more sure, doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't be excited for the ones coming up. Let's get into the top 4.
After a couple of days, I'm gonna come to Dagestan with my belt because
Coming up at number 4, Khamzat Chimaev. We told you, didn't we? Don't think this list will be going stale. Anyway, much like Makhachev, Boris has been looking unbeatable in his last few fights. But come on guys, Durinho showed us that this man's got weaknesses. Now, we're not saying Khamzat isn't anything. Honestly, we're fully expecting him to be a UFC champ in the future. But 2023 might be the year that the Boris hype train comes to a stop. The guy's number 3 in his division. It's now make it or break it. He's gonna be up against tougher guys like Colby. And while he might beat him, we don't see anyone getting past Usman if he gets his crown back. 2023 will be the year of shattered dreams in the UFC. There's just too much talent and not everyone can win. Alright, let's get into what you've all been waiting for.
When I was sitting and watching it, like when it came in the cage.
First up, at number 3, we have Paddy Pimblett. Honestly, this one's probably not a surprise to any of you. And most of you guys probably even agree with us. Yep, he deserves to be high up on our list. We're so certain we're going to see this hype train lose steam in 2023 that we'll be genuinely surprised if he can keep it up. Now, don't get us wrong. Despite how widely disliked this is in the MMA world these days, we don't wish anything but success for all these fighters. They're all warriors, including Paddy. Unfortunately though, the last fight versus Jared Gordon was one of the biggest robberies we've ever seen in the sport. Seriously, he shouldn't have won that fight. And while his hype train has slowed down now, we think we're going to see it completely stop in this new year. The guy's just not on the same level as some of these other lightweight.
Does not matter.
He didn't make it look easy though.
Hey, doesn't matter if he's got that chin up and he's getting
Next up, at number 2, we have Sean O'Malley. Surprised? Well, wait till you see number 1. Anyway guys, Sean's been kind of in a similar robbery situation as Paddy when he won his fight against Jan. Still, it was a close fight, and the Sugar Show deserves to be up there with the other top bantamweights. The problem though is that he's in a really weird spot. Honestly, the way it looks to us is that either this guy's hype's gonna die in the next year, or he'll end 2023 as the bantamweight champ. But no matter how good he is, if Cejudo comes back and beats Aljo, we might just be in another kind of cringe era. If that happens, we might see him getting stomped by Henry. In any case, this one's a toughie, but unless Sean massively surprises us all, this hype train's not going to be surviving much longer. Finally, at number 1, we have Conor McGregor. The Mystic Mac is the biggest draw in the UFC, and no matter how many times the McGregor hype train dies, the UFC somehow manages to revive it. First, Khabib destroyed the guy, and the hype was done. We thought that was the end, but somehow a single win against Cowboy brought all that hype right back. Then, the diamond broke McGregor's leg, and once again, the hype was done. We thought his career was over for sure this time. Well, shame on us apparently, because the Mac's making a return in 2023. Somehow, the fans just can't stop believing in this man, and sure, we get it. We all want to see the return of the McGregor who beat Aldo, but still, we think just the news of his return doesn't warrant this new McGregor hype train that's going on right now. Unfortunately, Conor fans, we think we're going to see this hype train end for the superstar once again in 2023. There's just too much new talent in the UFC. That's it for this one, guys. Were there any other hype trains you thought deserved a mention on this list? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe. See you at the next one.
Set up that takedown.
Yeah, I mean, he had so much success with those